Apparently, many of us would prefer to give ourselves an electric shock, but we're simply sitting in a room for 6 to 15 minutes. The majority of us are addicted to 24/7 stimulation, and we supposedly have a shorter attention span than a goldfish. Less and less, we're able to do what might seem like the easiest thing ever. Nothing. Recently, it's become especially popular to blame this on social media, and I have to say that does make a lot of sense. However, I think this is just a symptom of a larger problem. Let me explain. Around 2 months ago, I found myself in that same sort of distracted headspace. The only thing was, I wasn't using social media apps like Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. Instead, I would fill up all of my empty time with YouTube, podcasts, and even audiobooks. More productive forms of entertainment, I thought. That thought has legs, but the truth was, that was really just my justification. Whenever I was eating, I'd be watching YouTube. If I was doing a chore, I'd just listen to a podcast. And if I found myself even slightly bored, I would pull out an audiobook. One of the main reasons I was consuming all of this was to fill up any gaps of silence. Here's some context for back then. Since school was online and I could progress at my own pace, I was racing to finish before the end of April, as that's when I was going to go visit my grandparents. To do this, I committed to 4 hours of deep work every day, and I also took a rest day on Sundays. But I also wanted to give myself an extra advantage, so inspired by the 4-hour work week, I decided to go on an information crash diet. Here are the rules. No social media, no YouTube, and no podcasts. I decided I was going to keep audiobooks in the mix because I figured I wasn't as likely to consume that mindlessly. During the first week, I would get bored during the times I'd usually be consuming something. But after that, I honestly didn't miss it all that much. I got into a very disciplined routine and was super focused on just getting work done. I felt increasingly still instead of bored when I had moments of silence. Because of this, on the day before my family and I left for my grandparents', I was able to achieve my goal by finishing my last assignment. So coming out of this experience, I'd like to share 3 strategies that I've implemented for preventing information overload and compulsive consumption, and instead still consuming valuable information, but retaining a sense of mental clarity and stillness while you do it. The first thing you might want to do is only consume the sources of information that are disproportionately useful. What this means for me is I don't have apps like Instagram or TikTok where I believe the downsides significantly outweigh the benefits. As I said, I prefer to consume longer forms of information such as YouTube videos, blogs, podcasts, and books. Even then, I try and discard as much stuff as possible while only consuming the stuff that's going to be disproportionately valuable. There's 3 questions you can ask yourself to get yourself in this sort of mindset. The first one is, how can I get the benefits from the source of information without the downsides? And an example of action from this question would be deleting the Facebook app while keeping the Messenger app so that you can still message friends and family. Another question is this something that I'm going to apply immediately? If it's not something you're going to apply immediately, just discard it. And the last question is, does this take part in the 20% of information that's going to be the most valuable to me? And if it isn't, once again, just discard it. The second strategy, I think it's called graduated stimulation. It's an idea I learned from the channel Better Ideas, and pretty much what it is you start off your day with high difficulty, not very exciting tasks, and then you work your way down to the end of the day, and then you have your high dopamine inducing very simple tasks. And so at the end of the day, that's when you want to be consuming information like YouTube and stuff. Finally, for increased mental clarity and less stress, I would strongly recommend daily meditation. Unlike the previous 2 things, this is definitely something that's going to pay off in the long term, but it's definitely worth it. If you're a complete beginner, I would just recommend start with 2 minutes every day and then gradually work your way up from there. If you're completely lost, you don't know anything about meditation, 2 books I would recommend are The Power of Now and The 4 Agreements. These aren't necessarily books specifically about meditation, but they explain like the practice or the principles behind meditation. They have both been extremely valuable to me, and so I strongly recommend you check them out. If you found anything useful in this video, consider giving it a like. Also, if you want to see more videos like this every week, subscribe and hit the bell, because this is a very small channel, so you probably won't see my videos in your recommended otherwise. That's it for today. See you next week.